Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Internet Friends, the episode where we basically can't escape our houses.
Nope.
Oh yeah. We don't want to either.
It's a little
It's
horrifying
awful
out
out
there
there.
right now.
It's terrible. I would rather be in here.
Yeah. You got a dog.
I do. He's dumb.
Oh baby.
The dumb ones are the best ones, though.
They are. He's very
Absolutely.
sweet to me. He hates everyone else, but to me, he's
Got a lot
very
of
nice.
personality.
That's a good dog. A good dog that hates everybody else is a good dog.
True facts.
Anyway, so we're filming on Black Friday today, so anybody do anything fun for Thanksgiving?
I held space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity. I'm sure both of you can relate to that. I know it was very important. I was very thankful for that song, so I wanted to hold the space.
Thank you.
That meme is going to be
Hold space.
so dead by the time this episode goes up.
No question.
Pretty much. No, I think the only one I've seen of that is the hold space for people who watch Arcane who've never played League of Legends, who are dating
Oh, I
somebody
have
who
seen
watch
that a
Arcane,
lot.
who only ever plays League of Legends. I'm just like, girl, just leave him.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
We don't have to hold space for that. You can just leave.
No.
You should.
What?
There's no good path that leads down. No fucking question.
Oh, absolutely not. Brie, what about you? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was, honestly, I hate Thanksgiving. I always have. I think from working at a grocery store for many, many Thanksgivings,
Oh, yeah.
I truly
That would do
believe.
it.
Yep.
Yes, it's the holiday that brings the absolute worst out of people. I'm sure you've seen those videos of like moms freaking out Thanksgiving morning. And I'm like, I just feel like Thanksgiving is just a fucking stressful holiday for no fucking reason. For actually, for a very bad reason. So I'm kind of like, if we could just get rid of this, but still have the Thursday, Friday off, that'd be dandy.
Yeah.
I was by myself all day and it was so dandy. I did feel bad because most people I talked to when I was like, oh, I'm going to be by myself, they like had the most pained expressions. Just like, oh my God, I was like, no, I am so thrilled. It's just me and my cats and we are just gonna vibe. So, and that's what I did. And it was lovely. I watched Inside, which we'll talk about momentarily, and then I played video games and napped. So it was a perfect holiday.
It's pretty much exactly what I did with Emily. Her parents were supposed to go out of town, but they decided not to go out of town at the last minute. And then when they told us that, they weren't going out of town, I just did not say anything. I was like, oh, okay. Making absolutely no commitments.
Smart.
And but yeah, very similar. Played a bunch of Mass Effect yesterday. Emily made mac and cheese, and we hung out with the dog and everything. So
Perfect.
Very nice.
yep.
Love
And
that.
so now we are in the capitalist hellhole that is holiday shopping season, which is just as fun.
Yay.
Do people like go to war like they used to on Black Friday,
No.
or is it pretty much all just online now?
Well, not only is it all online, it seems as though a lot of stores are starting their Black Friday deals the week of Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
the deals there's not as big of incentive to go busting down the door at midnight on Thanksgiving and trample a grandma.
Right.
If not earlier too, I feel like honestly people have been like doing these deals like since like early November, like the second week of November, people are just like rolling out Black
Oh, have
Friday
they been?
deals. So yeah, a ton of places I've seen like, and honestly,
Alright.
even the smaller businesses doing them a little bit earlier just to kind of so that they have time to like fulfill all those orders and stuff. I was like, by all means, honestly, like I don't need anyone to like die over me getting a gift for somebody. It's literally
Yeah.
not that serious.
Yeah, and then you have
Yeah.
the places that just raise the price of everything right beforehand and then just like mark
Yup.
it down to basically what it already
Yep.
was previously. That's always my
Ah.
favorite. That's always so
100%.
good.
You know, that's illegal most other places. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
really only do that in America.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's even illegal in America. It's just people get away with it.
Oh, yeah, fair.
It's like
God
True.
bless.
I forgot that if you've got enough money in your corporation, you can just break laws.
You could be the president, actually. So
Fair.
fucking
We-
nuts.
we we
Yep.
we just keep a little bit in the bank just for any time the government wants to fine us, and it's just like, oh, it's just whatever.
Oh, you're still putting money in the banks? No, I'm burying it in a can in a
Well,
park.
I'm talking
Smart.
about corporations. Us, like, it's
Oh,
just
yeah,
like, it's basically anything. If my apartment burns down right now, there goes like all the money I've been hiding in the couch cushions.
Save the couch, just the couch.
Just remember, kids, money isn't real. Invest in bullets.
Yeah.
It's true.
Things that you can barter with when it all goes to hell.
Yep.
Definitely not a
bottle
prepper.
caps. I hear are probably going to be worth a lot in the future.
So
There you go.
So be sure to head down to your local Costco, buy all of the Mexican Coke bottles.
Yes.
Yep.
Do that regardless. That sounds like a good time.
Just all that cane sugar. Just all that cane sugar.
Delicious.
It's so much better than
It really is.
weird
The corn syrup,
shit
yeah.
we get.
Yeah.
No
I think
question.
Thai fructose corn syrup. I blame the Midwest and their corn subsidies.
Yeah.
It's probably our fault.
Yeah.
Corn really is an amazing food product.
yeah,
though.
absolutely.
It can be turned into a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, we could turn it into fuel. We could turn it into alcohol. We could turn it.
I'm
into
very,
syrup.
very pro corn. I love the alcohol, but too. Invest in corn. Buy corn.
Well, we give them enough subsidies, so it's a pretty safe bet.
Absolutely.
True.
Anyways, so this is going to be our last show for the year. We're going to go on hiatus after this, so we're going to basically do this right now, and then we'll spend the rest of the year, doing holiday stuff, and then also planning on what we want to kind of do going forward. But, so our last homework assignment of the year was assigned by me, and we did Bo Burnham's Inside. And so this came out in 2020, 2021, basically pandemic era, and is very much themed around that. So you guys both said that you are familiar with it, but not necessarily like have sat down to like really watch it. So Seth, kind of what was your impressions of it?
So I had experienced it primarily through TikTok. So all of the audios, I had seen some of the actual clips, but it was largely the audios, to a point where I felt like, yeah, I've seen it. I don't need to actually watch it, because within a couple of days of it coming out, everything had been flooded online.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just never felt the desire to watch it. It is fucking great. It is really good. But that's all I'll say for right now.
All right, Brie, what about you? What was your kind of thoughts on it?
So I had watched it initially when it came out. I only got to the 39-minute mark, so which I verified when I booted this back up, and I was like, oh, 39 minutes in. I guess that's when I gave up. And I watched it because my partner was like very into it. He's like, it's so good, you have to watch it. And I just think I was in the wrong headspace for it at the time. We'll probably get more into this later, but my very first note on this was, man, I have so much unprocessed trauma from quarantine. I don't remember a lot of it. And I think at the time when this came out, I think that wound was a little too fresh, a little too raw for me to like take in this media at all. I just think I couldn't do it. So being a little bit further away from that still stings a little bit, because I'm recognizing that I was like, oh fuck, like how this is going to affect us societally for a while. I think most people have not processed anything that happened then. We didn't have time to, I don't think. So I agree 100%. I'm like, I thought this was so fucking good. I'm glad I watched it now. I gave it another chance because it was well worth it.
Yeah, I'll be sure to get that check from your boyfriend later for finally getting you to watch it. Checks in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully there's no terrifying Canadian paychecks coming anytime soon. So, Seth, kind of interesting enough, you mentioned how you were familiar with a lot of the stuff in the context of, TikToks and the audios being used. How different was it from what you had in your head based on that?
A lot more serious. Actually, one of my first notes is, this is depressing as fuck. Because it's like, it is so heavy, and the little clips that I was getting were like the funny parts of the songs, and it is funny, it is very funny, but then you have these tonal shifts that like they just immediately throw you to like, oh fuck, it's serious. And I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, I find that kind of like that was where I was kind of thinking it was going to go with for you, because like the context that a lot of the songs have had on TikTok have been like, the transformative meme things, and Bo Burnham has always had like kind of like very much finger on the pulse of like meme culture. He was big on Vine back in the day. He had his YouTube, he's done his other comedy type stuff, but very specifically it's just like, like White Woman's Instagram is a great one. If you've never watched this, like the context of that is completely different from how it gets used on TikTok.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was everybody's favorite song off of the special?
Oh God.
There's a lot of good ones.
Honestly, I would have to say I can't remember the names of any of them, but it's That Funny Feeling.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
He sounds exactly like James Taylor.
Yeah.
Or like exactly like him on that song. And it is a beautiful piece. It is a beautiful song. And so I think that one's my favorite.
Brie, what about you?
I'm looking at the list. I was like, I don't know if I know what any of them are called. So
she's looking at the discography.
Yeah. God, I want to.
The internet
I think
song's great too.
Yeah, oh, no question.
Yeah, that one's really good.
I think I'm gonna go with All Eyes on Me because that's actually I think I want to choreograph something to that because I think that would be a really beautiful piece. So,
that was a really good one.
Yes, honestly, all of them are so good, but that's probably I think that's especially just the way it's integrated and the way it hits at that certain point of film. It's just like it's a lot.
Yeah. No, the most upsetting thing about the entire thing is just like, God, this one person is so goddamn talented. It makes me look bad at everything I do.
Right?
As a musician,
and he's sexy too. He's attractive.
I was gonna say that. I was trying to determine the whole time. I was like, do I find this man attractive? And like I determined at the end that I was like 110%, especially with the longer hair. If he had tattoos, done fucking deal. That would be
my God, like a neck tat thing.
Whew, yeah, done and done. Absolutely my type.
But no, like it is kind of interesting because especially since I chose to watch this after just losing my job, and that whole experience of like as the special goes on, you see he's brought in more equipment and everything's just kind of lying around taking up space and everything else. And I was just like, oh God, it's my apartment.
Yeah.
And just having that experience of just like I think in like the last 2 years the amount of production equipment I have now in my apartment's like ballooned significantly. Like you can't see it, but like I have a whole bunch of like lights and C-stands and like reflectors and stuff all sitting over here next to my desk. You got mics and doodads. I sent you guys microphones this year because like I bought like 6 of them and like I'm not even using all of them, so I was just like, just send my co-host mics because why not?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, and just kind of like that experience, that like that collective trauma, like as you mentioned, that we all had from quarantine. And yeah, and like I agree with you, Brie, in a lot of ways. Like we haven't processed that. How much have we talked about like jokingly and memeingly, but like male loneliness, and like it's just like like that's like it's messed with us, and I don't think we've ever fully recovered from it.
I think it'll be a while before we do. I know this book, it did make me cry, especially towards the end. Same. Where he's just like, he says, I am not well, and then just starts sobbing. I fucking lost it because I'm like, one, I had done that so many fucking times during quarantine because like just the weight of everything that was happening. And honestly, I'm like, I still do that from time to time. This has probably been one of like this past year, which we'll get into a little bit later, but it's probably like one of my worst mental health years in a while. But it's like that moment where you're just like, oh, I am not fucking okay. And then just like complete breakdown. I was like, oh God, like I felt very seen in that moment. I'm also just like, oh God, I think so many of us have experienced this. And like to watch somebody else do it in real time is just very cathartic and visceral.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of catharsis with that, especially in like the moments where he was like addressing the camera and like wasn't doing a song, but like was just like talking and like had those moments of just like, I've been doing this for a whole year now. I thought I was going to get it done so much earlier. And like, it was just like, oh yes, the classic struggle of, being a creative and not being happy with your own work or your work not being good enough. And you develop the imposter syndrome and the everything else that kind of goes along with it, and like,
and then also how things balloon, how projects grow. Like you said, over time he's got more and more equipment.
Yeah, because when he started, he had like a couple of lights, the camera, and then like the keyboard and a microphone, and then like over time, like he used like several different mics throughout. He has a bunch of stuff connected. He has an extra keyboard. He bought more lenses, just everything. It was just like, yep, nope, I've been there.
You see that like chaos and disarray in the background a lot, which I think was like is such a beautiful point because I feel like just more and more you're seeing just wires and just cords just in the background. Drawers are open, half closed. I'm just like, oh God, absolutely all of us have been through this point. And I think and I'm sure for us too, granted, this is a little less of an edited podcast, but especially for my other podcasts, like the whole saying a line, fuck. Okay, saying a line, fuck. And like keep repeating that. I was like, oh God, especially like how angry he fucking gets at some point where you're like, just fucking say the words. Like, it's not that hard. Especially, I can't imagine being alone in your room doing that. Usually I'm talking to somebody else so I can kind of meter my response to that. But just like, I think we've all been there. Just like, you know English, just fucking say it.
If anybody wants to see a recent version of that, I just put up my video resume actually this morning. And it's there. It's that classic just me talking into camera by myself. And like, if you saw the unedited version, there's several moments where I'm just like, fuck. And then like, just like go and like grab like, I had a beer or like tea or something in front of me. I was just like, okay.
Well, here we go. Well, even like some of the TikToks I do, even though they're shit posty, I'll think of a joke and then I'll film it like 5 or 6 times, and it'll be like, God damn, just speak. You just did it before you hit record.
Yes.
Do it again.
Like, I can't tell you how many like scripts I have written for like just video essays that I have done in the last like 5 years that like have gone nowhere like whatsoever. It's just like maybe I finished writing them. Maybe they were just like in like kind of certain stages of unfinished or just needing some tweaks. But like in terms of ever like taking the time to just sit down and record, like it's draining. Like, you know, I tried to pick up live streaming, and just like the simple act of trying to set up OBS and have everything set up just to do streams, I just go like, fuck it, this is too exhausting. I just want to play the video game. I don't want to bother streaming it. And just like people forget that like, you know, content creation in general is not easy. And it's a skill set you have to develop. Like, you know, you go look at a lot of creators that maybe, you know, if you look at some of their earlier work, it's probably completely different from like, you know, what you know them for now. I mean, if you look at this and then go back and look at Bo Burnham's like, you know, TikTok or not TikTok's Vines or anything like that, just
or his early YouTube.
Yeah, early YouTube where it's just like it's completely different. And it had to be developed over time, and those skill sets aren't easy to develop, especially just talking to a camera. It seems like the easiest thing in the world. It's not.
And that can get worse over time too. I feel like I've talked to a lot of people who like make content regularly. I was actually just talking to my partner about this, and he's like, I cannot at this point stand the fucking sound of my recorded voice. And I'm just like, God, I can't imagine that. Just like
worst thing for me is literally when I'm editing and I'm just constantly having to hear myself say the same thing over and over, and I'm constantly going back and like just cutting things down, trying stuff like just my own voice irritates the crap out of me.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot from people. I have the voice of an angel, so that like confuses me. But...
Your voice could never get frustrated.
That's why she has 2 podcasts. She could hear herself twice as much.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
It's a dream, actually.
So, technically, this special was a comedy special.
Yes, technically.
It's definitely comedic, but it's comedic in a dark way. It's definitely in that kind of thing. But I kind of was thinking about the state of what comedy is now, and how this was kind of a really breath of fresh air in terms of how comedy is approached now, because now there's just like a whole bunch of people who just want to complain about cancel culture and their derivative of everybody else, and you know, stand-up, podcast, and other kinds of stuff in comedy space. Just like it's, I don't know. I'm just kind of detached from the genre at this point. And I want to kind of get a sense of what you guys feel about it.
I still get a large percentage of stand-up on my For You page, and there are still good stand-ups that make very funny comedy that is left-leaning or, you know, not politically affiliated or whatever, but there are a lot more vocal ones that are about like, you can't say anything anymore, you can't do it. And I get why you've kind of been pulled away from the genre. They are the loudest, and you really do have to search for the good comics right now, and that's not fun. As somebody who used to just enjoy pulling up a random comedy special on Netflix and just letting it play,
Yeah.
now I gotta know who the person is before I'll even consider putting it on.
Right.
You have to, yeah.
And I also think it's just like my brand of comedy is a lot different than, you know, what I think is in mainstream comedy these days too.
Yeah.
More than anything else, you know, I think everybody's like at this point now where it's just like we've had this conversation. It's just like if you can't find content that you like, that's a skills issue on your part. There's plenty of stuff out there that you can find that's to your taste. You just have to be discerning about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or we could just do what we did back in the early 2000s and just wait for content creators we watched to start using dog whistles.
Yep.
Perfect.
Oh my God. I was watching a video on the Watchmen HBO series. I've never seen it, but I was like, I'll watch a recap video instead and see if it's worth my time. Yeah. And they start going into like the political stuff, and I'm half paying attention to the video, and I felt myself like perk up and lean over to the video to be like, am I gonna have to turn this off? Am I gonna have to? And then he made fun of the Nazis, and I was like, okay, good.
Okay.
All right. I can go back to folding my laundry.
Yeah. The classic is like, please don't say the thing. Please don't say the thing. Like, oh, yep. Okay.
It happens so quickly because there's been plenty of videos where I'm just like, okay, that sounds like an interesting topic, and all of a sudden they're like, and why do we have to make all the actors black all the time? I was like, wow.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. And it's everywhere. You're watching a video about Star Wars toys, and they're like, yeah, the quality's shit. Plus, they're making them for girls now, and Star Wars isn't for girls. And you're like, what?
What happened?
You are a 45-year-old man reviewing Star Wars toys, and you're complaining about how some are being made for girls?
It's that classic, like, you know, having an opinion about a certain piece of media, and then finding out the worst person in the world agrees with you.
Nothing worse.
Yeah, it's just terrible. Like, I really did not like this. It's like, I didn't like this either. And you want to know why? Women. It's just like, no, that is not why I did not like it.
Whoa.
Soren Bowie had on Cracked an amazing video that's exactly about this, about how arguing online is so hard because someone will jump into your comment section and like defend you, and then they'll do exactly that and add like a really terrible point, and you're like, well, now I can't affiliate with them, but they were just defending me.
I think that's another thing is like the comment section as it exists for like how, you know, we consume our comedy now too. Like you can't see, you know, a comedic joke video and open up the comments and like expect everybody to just be having a good laugh about it. Instead, like you have people who like make it a political point where it wasn't even a political joke, or like make it a kind of it's just like, this is hell.
Or they just completely don't understand the joke at all. Yeah. And it's just like...
Therefore, it's bad. Therefore, it's a bad joke because they didn't understand it. So.
Yeah. And to also go back to stand-up and stuff that's happening right now, because of TikTok and because so many stand-ups have been putting up their like crowd work, we're seeing a shift where a lot of audiences that are starting to go to comedy shows think that's the whole show. And like a lot of comedians are getting frustrated because they're like, no, I'll do crowd work in a second. Let me tell my jokes first. Yeah. Like, this isn't TikTok.
Yeah, it used to be one of those things where like heckling was reserved for if somebody was really doing a bad job. But like now it is like there's that expectation of just like, oh, you know, they're going to do crowd work, or they're going to, or like they expect me to have an instant reaction to something. It's like, no, like this is my craft.
Yeah, this isn't an interactive show. This is an artist presenting you with their work.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right, well, anybody have any other thoughts on Bo Burnham's Inside?
I did have two more brief things. One, going from a very like poignant like commentary on capitalism to be like a pause and then like, man, I'm horny is like such a fucking
That's a vibe,
right?
I know. It's just like
I'm
almost constant. It's so exactly. It's like, I'm just like, wow. I feel like so much of this special is just like, it was so validating to like just hear him say things in the exact way that I've said them. And I'm like, oh my God, wow, that is me. And probably everybody. And along those lines as well is the can I interest you in everything all of the time? Which is just like, I know we've talked about this before, but I'm interested to see how things progress going forward, because we are just not meant to have this much information and this input constantly. And I'm noticing it more and more as I'm trying to like separate myself from technology, which is a weirdly extremely hard thing to do. And this has happened to me, and I know it happens to a lot of people. When people are taking tech-free hours, they have to spend the first 15-20 minutes just calming down, because like you are so anxious. You're like, where's my phone? I don't have anything playing right now. And I think that's so disturbing. And it's just like, I feel like it's getting worse and worse all the time, where even like in that, like at my job, people in my lobby will play videos like full volume because they don't like that I'm not playing music. They like cannot handle sitting still for 15 minutes while they wait for their therapist. I'm just like, we need to figure this out. Like as a collective, we need to figure out how to disconnect from this, because this can't be good for us socially.
And you're right, like especially for those of us here who are like very on the spectrum of neurodivergency, it's just kind of like, yeah, you're right, when I don't have like some kind of like media background, something kind of going on, I find myself just like really unable to focus. I say like I will spend like an hour or two in my apartment just like NPC walking around. And I'm just like, why am I doing, just focus, get started on this thing here, go start on a script, go record this thing that you needed to go do, go send out some resumes, just get focused into it. It's just like I have absolutely no stimulation, and then once I start getting into stimulation, it's overstimulation, and it's just like having it constantly and causing withdrawals and everything else like that. It's just like, you know, it's one of those things like, yeah, this has been a problem, and it's probably been a problem on some level, but like now we just have different stimulus that kind of goes along with it.
Yeah. Well, and it also is definitely getting worse. I'm the kind of person who my entire life I've gone to concerts and shows by myself. Like if no one else wants to see the band, fuck it, I'll just go. Whole life, when my teens, my early 20s, in between sets, you just start talking to the people around you. You make, one-time friends. Over the last like 5-6 years, when I go to a show alone, in between sets, everybody pulls out their phone, everybody pulls out their vape, and they just stand in that one spot, have their vape, get on their phone, maybe go to the bathroom, maybe get a drink. No one is interacting with each other in between sets anymore.
That's so upsetting too, because I'm just like, it is those small interactions that I think like make us most human. Like it's just like, maybe you don't ever talk to these people ever fucking again, but like even I went to a training not that long ago, and I just like tried to talk to the other women in the group. They were all around my age, like we liked the same thing. We were going to this training because we were interested in it, and I just tried to introduce myself, and then they immediately were like, "This is my name," and then just went down to their phone. I was like, okay, like I'm just like I'm very approachable. I'm very friendly. And I was like, I wasn't trying to get anything out of it. I was like, we were just waiting for the program to start. And I was like, can we not just like chat for a second? Like, you're not obligated to talk to me. None of you are. But I'm like, not one of you will. Like, I just like, it was very sad. It just made me, especially like it was in a yoga studio too. So I thought for sure that, somebody would be like, oh my God, yeah, this is clearly we're aligned in a lot of ways. But it's just like, we're losing that connection very quickly, and it kind of frightens me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's amazing how we have never been more connected in our lives, and somehow we're still completely detached.
Yes. It's terrible.
Anyways, highly recommend seeing Bo Burnham's Inside if you guys ever have the chance. They also have the outtakes on Netflix as well, so you can see the stuff that he didn't put in. That's That's
where the Joe Biden song is, right?
Yeah, that's where the Joe Biden song is.
Okay,
I agree with his decision to cut that from the main special because it was happening during the election is when it was released. So I was just like, now's not the time for this one.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's fair. Great song though. That one's good. But yeah, the special ended and I was like, where's that one?
Where's Joe Biden?
It's on the outtakes of the special, but it's there. It's on Netflix. You guys can go check that out. Just be in a specific kind of headspace when you watch it. That's all I'm gonna recommend.
Yeah,
it's very raw.
Be ready to be sad.
Yes,
absolutely.
All right. Well,
it's a great way to end my Thanksgiving. By the way, crying.
Hey,
That's how I started mine.
I watched it on Tuesday, so I didn't have to worry about it. It was already out. Anyways, But yeah, so as I mentioned previously, we are going to be on hiatus, but we've made it almost a full year of doing this podcast. So we kind of have some stuff listed on here on the topic doc, starting kind of with maybe just a little year in review and talking about, what was everybody's favorite thing that they discovered from doing this podcast this year?
I know. I'm like, I meant to write down a list for everybody because I know it's been a hot minute, and like
I literally just looked at like my YouTube like upload.
Yeah, I might pull that up real quick.
I'm doing that right now. I will say, just off the top of my dome, I think the ones that I liked the most that were not my picks, because I'm gonna try not to do that. I
liked all the stuff I recommended, of course.
Yeah.
I have really good taste though, so that makes sense.
It's like, of course they were great.
Yes. I really enjoyed, well, you know what, Kevin Can F Himself was a pretty good one, pretty tops for me. I also really enjoyed rewatching Interview with the Vampire, and I think the most surprising one for me was the Clone Wars, because I was not expecting to like that at all, and I actually found that really enjoyable. So those are top three for me.
All right. I'm going back over the list. A Has-Been Hotel was one that really surprised me. I was real surprised by how much I liked that.
First one.
Yeah. And let's see. I recommended that one.
Like,
great
man,
I love RoboCop.
Yeah.
Can't say RoboCop.
I was really hoping Brie was going to say RoboCop. Put it on her list. Interview with the Vampire was great. I also liked X-Men 97.
Yep.
That was good. And Arcane.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. No, I agree with your pick on Has-Been Hotel. I think that probably was like the one that, was not on my radar really at all, and so getting to watch it. A lot of Bree's picks were really good because they were stuff that I wouldn't have actively, sought out or chose to watch otherwise. So, so like that, She-Ra, was really good, so really enjoyed that. Kevin Can F Himself was a very good one. I liked going back and revisiting stuff like RoboCop and stuff, and being able to have a conversation with somebody who gets it and wanted to talk about it, and having that avenue to talk about RoboCop. So that was really kind of fun, and like that. So I felt like we had a pretty good mix, and I also like
the fact that saying RoboCop, by the way. I appreciate that. I'll stay on the show another year.
It's like, you're gonna watch RoboCop and you're gonna like it. You have to
First
understand,
pick
this was
next year, RoboCop 2.
You have to remember, this was the Reagan era.
Must like RoboCop.
Yeah. It's on all my dating profiles.
I was about to say, we should figure out which date we publish RoboCop on and have to watch it every year on that date. Every year.
Yeah, I already watch it once a month. I will gladly watch it once a year for the show.
And I know you'll watch it because you'll post that exact same scene on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Seth's at it again.
That's my version of a wellness check. It's like, has Seth posted RoboCop
recently? Yeah, he did. All right.
All right, he's fine. He's fine.
Is that he's doing good or bad? I'm not sure.
RoboCop makes him happy, so I'm like, okay, that's a good thing. He's getting the serotonin,
He has enrichment in his enclosure. That's fine. That's all he
does.
As long as I'm seeing RoboCop and Bo, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Then I'm good.
But yeah, so kind of also looking forward to next year. What are some things we want to try doing on the podcast that we haven't necessarily been doing? I've obviously been enjoying the homework assignments. I think it kind of like has turned the show into a spiritual successor to what we did on Movie Club.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. But like, is there anything that we kind of want to try going forward?
If we would consider books, I have a lot to say about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I fucking hate that book, and I would rant about it. I can rant for a good hour on it.
I was about to say, like, I remember trying to read that in middle school, and I don't think I got past the second chapter.
That's disappointing because the first half of the book is legitimately great, or the first quarter. The first quarter is so good, and then once they're on the ship, I won't. That's my Christmas gift to both of you. I will not do my 20,000 Leagues rant.
Well, I was just about to say, okay, so we're gonna start adding Seth rants every episode.
I would love that, and I wouldn't be opposed to books. I think it's just like video games. I feel like it's certainly a lot more of a time.
Yeah, it is much more of an investment.
Yeah, that's why after our attempt at Breath of the Wild, it's just like, yeah, Transistor's a short enough game to where it's just like you can kind of get through it pretty quick. But yeah, just trying to be more respectful of your guys' time as I can be. Obviously, like we're busy people. Well, some of us less busy than others these days.
I am busy, yes. No, I am.
And then, so, anyways,
but yeah, I video games are hard when they're longer to keep doing.
And Brie already has Game Bird, so it's just like she'll get video gamed out very quickly.
True.
But I'm not opposed to it.
Game Birds in review. We just tell why Brie is wrong about why she likes indie games on Game Birds.
Wow. How dare you? My opinion is always correct.
That's it. That's the clause in her contract. She's always right.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Otherwise, she quits the show.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's true.
Every week.
Every week.
All right. So how do we rate this year on a scale of 1 to 10? How was 2024?
Oh.
3.
Oh wow, that's pretty low.
Are we talking the year on the show or the year?
Well, now I'm interested in what that 3 was for.
3 is for year. Okay. If we're talking just the show, it's higher, obviously.
Like a 4 for sure.
Yeah.
3.5. Let's go for the show. How was your year on the show, Seth?
I think it was good. I really enjoy doing this. I would put it at probably an 8. Yeah.
Loses points for all the times where he's quit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the personality hire. I understand.
No, I think I'm the kind of person who believes there's always room to improve when you're creating something.
Yeah.
So I always leave that space to allow next year to be better.
Oh yeah. And we've obviously developed stuff as we've gone along. I've tried to make the production quality as good as I possibly can, and added new little tweaks and stuff as I've gone along. We got stuff like again, just kind of throwing out some ideas. I've enjoyed the show. This show's probably been the highlight of the year in terms of stuff I've been doing with it. So I appreciate you guys taking the time every other week to hang out. Brie, what about you? How would you rate your year on the show?
I would say pretty similarly. I'm I think there's always room for improvement. So I think 8 is very comfortable. Because it's been nice reconnecting with both of you, especially last week was very cathartic, and it was just it was very nice to talk to like-minded people who I could just rant at for a while. So it's been nice doing that, and also just I've really enjoyed the homework assignments because it's just I will go. I am very much a comfort watch person where I will watch the same couple things over and over again. So I'm grateful to have the excuse to have to actively seek out other media, and also again discovering some things that I think I might have left on my to be watched list, or some things I would not have watched, period. Even if I didn't 100% like them, I still am grateful that I got to experience something new. So I think that's been the most fun part. And I love our show and tells as well. I would love to continue to do that every couple of episodes.
I do like
I think that's super fun. So just to kind of get our different levels of autism in there, which is great.
Too much autism for one show.
And I want to just it depends on how autism's playing in the charts after Trump's elected and RFK gets into office. I want to be clear. I think I could do better. You two are perfect. The 2 points that I'm knocking down are for my own performance. I could be funnier. I could be more professional. I could not have a tall boy of malt liquor on the show.
No, honestly, like Seth, in my opinion, you know, you've always had like the great like on-camera presence in terms of like being able to kind of just turn it on, you know, bring up the energy, bring up the comedy. It's been really good. Once again, Brie is the personality hire. You know, she's the one who everybody's here to, you know, she's the eye candy. She's the, you know, the person who's just like, yeah, she's never wrong about anything.
Not once.
It's never been wrong. And then I'm just the tech guy who just happens to be on camera. So.
You own all the equipment, so you're the host.
I'm just.
No, I appreciate that because I do. There are some episodes I walk away where I'm like, dude, why the fuck did you say that one thing, man? Why did you like?
I feel like we've had like a very tight show for the most part, and like like Brie, you kind of said like, you know, I like the fact that we, you know, it's not a requirement for everybody to come in and like the same things or like, you know, the homework assignments every now and again. It's an opportunity for us to at least just kind of be like exposed to it and not necessarily, you know, have to necessarily all have the exact same opinion on everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, nice.
All right.
How was your 2024 in general? I do want a general year rating as well. Not outside of the podcast.
Oh.
It was bad. It was a terrible year.
Yeah. Yeah, when you throw in the election and unemployment right at the finish line of it, it's just like not a whole lot really went great.
No.
But it's not my worst year ever, I will say that.
Yeah, that's kind of
not my worst year ever.
Not my worst year ever.
I did have a really bad like depression spiral there for a couple months. That was like the hardest one I've gone through in a few years. But I'm back. I'm good. Yeah, summer was rough, but I'm here.
Hard same though, honestly. Hard same. I'm like again, like I feel like this year just like unfortunately because capitalism is the way it is, I need to be making more money, and I've been working so much to the point where I am just like physically and spiritually, emotionally exhausted all the time, and I fucking hate that. Even though, because it's like you work so hard, you still only make X amount of money, and you're like, oh, this, even though I've been busting my fucking ass, it's still not enough to afford my own place or XYZ. It's just like, wow, and it's only going to get worse. So yeah, I feel like mental health wise, things have been a little rough this year. And also just societally, things have been very rough and are going to continue to get worse. I will say just like, I did get a tattoo this year. I'm getting a tattoo tomorrow, so things to look forward to.
There you go.
And I did go on
coming up Millhouse.
Exactly. And I went on my first vacation with my partner. We went to Michigan for a weekend, and that was like super fun. So and you know, I am improving my living space. So I'm buying a coffee table this week like a grown up. So instead of just a busted up ottoman. So you know, we are progressing as a human.
You're gonna have like
enriching your environment.
Table? I am. My enclosure.
Enriching your enclosure. Really, you're enriching the cat's enclosure.
True.
Yes,
they're the ones who are going to be using that tabletop.
It's true. But that makes me happy.
Yeah.
The all fun and games until they start using it as a scratching post.
That is why the ottoman needs to be replaced, because it is in shambles. Same thing with my hamper. I don't know why I got a fabric hamper. Why did I think I could have nice things? It's fine.
Right? Cats will not allow you to have them.
They will not.
But they're so cute.
They are. They are adorable.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, anything else we want to talk about with this episode? It's going to be one of our shorter ones at this point, unless somebody comes up with anything.
Ooh. I got something, but I think it might require more thinking, like more time to think on.
That's fair.
It's like, what's your like YouTube hear me out? Like, what's your most recent like rabbit hole you went down through where you're like, yeah, give me a minute, let me explain why.
Okay.
Let me look. Give me a sec.
Because I thought of that yesterday, and then I was like, I think that might be too soon to put it on the docket and doesn't give people enough time to really think.
Yeah, I'm okay with having that one stew a little bit, because,
Okay.
I try to keep a lot of my YouTube habits on the PGer side. Just because I watch a lot of I used to watch a lot of YouTube at work as like content research. So so like got to be kind of careful about like what rabbit holes you fall down.
So your rabbit holes immediately go dark, is what you're saying. Because I was going to talk about boats.
You've
And like
talked about
shipwrecks
this
from the 1800s. Yeah.
Everybody's favorite news segment, Seth's special interest. So anyways, I was trying to reread 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and then I got really interested in shipwrecks.
It's actually the Titanic's fault, but you're not that far off.
Really, it wasn't the millionaires going down in a submersible getting crushed to death.
No.
Was that
I
this year?
rewatched
Was that last year?
That was last year. It's been over a year.
God.
I, just by complete coincidence, was like, you know what? I think it's time to rewatch Titanic. I put it on, very much enjoyed the film. The next morning, woke up to the entirety of the internet being like, hey, this sub went missing. And I was like, well, that's weird timing.
James Cameron somewhere has already started on the screenplay.
Oh,
Yeah. No, he was friends with them. He was real mad about it.
I'm sure he was.
Sucks to suck. That's what I say. So I'm not gonna speak ill of the dead, but it does suck to suck. So
I will. Fuck them. I got rock salt and a shotgun somewhere. I'll be fine when the ghosts come for me.
100%.
Seth, we talked about you not keeping the shotgun in the house. We don't
know.
need you Cobaining yourself.
They're just rock salt rounds, I swear.
See, that was the dark. See, now I'm the one who went with the dark joke. Why did I make that joke?
Hey, we've all at least like looked down the Kurt Cobain POV at least once, right? No?
Bree's just like, no, I'm mentally healthy. Despite what my blue hair says.
I'm going through a tunnel.
Why is a paddy wagon showing up in my front yard?
Yay, grippy
Bree,
socks.
did you call a wellness check?
It's for your own good, Seth.
Just remember, Seth, grippy socks are your friend.
They're so comfy. They really are nice. I've never earned my own pair, but I've dated some women who have let me borrow them, and they're so nice. They really are great socks.
Love that for you.
Thank you.
Anyways, so
they're all great people, by the way. That they like, you know, them being in a mental institution is not a shot against them. It's just that's where they got the socks.
Yeah.
Mental illness does not make you a bad person.
Yes.
God knows
Unless you're
we.
Unless you are a bad person, just outside of that. So just say.
Yeah.
You're a bad person with mental illness, not a bad person because of mental illness.
I would say if you use your mental illness as an excuse for your bad behavior, you can fuck all the way off with that. Speaking to every white man I've ever met, thank you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Very true.
Hey, just because you had a lot of trauma in your life doesn't mean you need to perpetrate those same trauma on everyone else.
Weirdly enough.
No, I disagree. I think everybody around me should be made to suffer for the atrocities that have been done to me. Right? That's how a healthy man approaches
That's how things even out. Absolutely. That's how the universe balances. You're absolutely right.
That's definitely not the religious trauma talking.
No. That's growing up in a predominantly white male society. That's that's the patriarchy.
Done such great things for everybody if
for
you're white
all
and
of us,
male.
in fact.
Yeah.
Woof. What a nightmare.
There are so many times when I go in on like a rant like that and I'm like, Seth, you're a white man. Seth, you're a white man. Be careful. Be so careful, dude. Like that voice is just rolling in my head the entire time. Like, be sure about what you're saying because like...
Yeah. Again, going back to the whole inside thing. It's just like, hey, educated white guy.
Yep.
It's also, if the election results have shown us anything, it's also white women, though. We need to blame white people as a whole. We need to stop, which again, I need to catch myself all the time because white women are just as bad and we're able to hide a lot better. So, fuck white people in general. Let's be real. So,
official stance of the show.
100%. We can all be doing better. Have you guys heard about this blue bracelet thing, by the way?
I remember hearing about it, but I think I forgot.
Yeah, it's basically white women are wearing blue bracelets to show to black people that they are, look, I'm on your side. The problem, like, it's all
because virtual signaling has always been so great.
Well, I just saw a video of a black woman who was just like, somebody came up to me in a grocery store and just like rolled my sleeve up and just like showed me the bracelet and then didn't say anything else. And she's like, you got to actually keep rolling your sleeves up. You have work to do. And I was like, absolutely. Like, you can't just look, I did the thing. It's like, no, you didn't. Keep fucking moving.
It's also just like going back to the, like, we got the worst version of the dystopia where we have to wear blue bracelets just to identify them. Just, come on. Yeah,
just invest in your community. That's like the best thing you could do right now. Use your fucking library. Use like your local resources. And fight like hell for people who can't fight for themselves. So wearing blue bracelet doesn't fucking do shit for goddamn anybody except virtue signal.
And also don't speak over the voices that you claim to be speaking for.
Leftists, white leftists.
Oh my God, right? That's like every time something happens, and we've probably talked about this before on air, but like every time something happens that affects any community that isn't white people, there's that moment of like, do I make a comment about this or do I just repost a bunch of shit? Because like, even if I think I have a good take, do I want to take away from the people whose voices need to be heard right now?
Correct. Yeah. And I think that's generally the best move, especially because I think we've seen a lot this year. And I don't know if this has been on your algorithm as well, but like so many like, white leftists have completely talked over people constantly on TikTok, especially where they're just like, well, no, now I'm right at this point. It's just like, no, dude, it's just like at some point you need to take I'm at this point, I really don't identify with any sort of political ideology because I'm like, I think all of them, because of white people, make it so much fucking worse because we are constantly talking over people. Sit down and fucking listen. That is all you have to do. I think reposting is a great way to do that. Actually calling your Congress people. Like, it's annoying, it's tedious, but you got to do it. That is our job. Just shut the fuck up and do the work. Period.
Yes. Agreed.
As Sako would say, shut the fuck up or get out of the way.
Yeah.
And truly, all white people.
That's Sock for president. Anyways, so
I don't know, dude. At this point, anybody would be better. Like, just a fictional character. Let's put a cat up there. Let's just, anybody would be better for president.
Just about.
I'd be okay with that. There's plenty of towns that are run by like dogs and cats, and those are doing just fine. So I just, let's go for it.
And let's just remember here: towns and cities run by dogs and cats are run better than that one libertarian city experiment that they tried.
Where the bears ate everybody.
Where the bears came in.
Yep. Classic. Anyways, thanks so much, guys, for the year. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of it. So homework assignment for next year. First homework assignment, I believe, is going to Brie, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, Brie, what's our first homework assignment next year?
So a bit of a throwback, and I mentioned it previously, just because there'll be a bit of a gap, so I think I can ask this to the best of your ability. I have never seen like the OG Spider-Man movies, so I would really like to watch them. With the caveat, I believe I have watched the first one. I just don't remember anything about it. I never saw Spider-Man 2 or 3. So as much as you can, I would like to watch that trilogy. I think that'd be really fun.
The first two will be fun.
Hey, that third one's got... I'll shut up.
You tried.
I remember seeing that in theaters with a buddy of mine, and we walked out, and he was just like, Spider-Man was his favorite superhero. So he is like trying so hard to convince himself. We're walking out of the theater, and he's like, well, that one scene was good, and I kind of liked it. I think it was good. And I went, no, it wasn't. And he went, yeah, you're right. It wasn't.
Okay, bud. Just let it go.
That was more or less my arc of seeing the first Suicide Squad. It was like, it wasn't so bad. Yeah, no, that was a trash movie.
Yeah.
You try to lie to yourself for as long as you can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, cool. So we will be watching Spider-Man when we come back next year. So
Woo!
everybody get your dose of Tobey Maguire while you still can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys, and we'll see you all next time. Oh, well, hang on.
Wait, you
do
forgot
the
your
plugs.
outs.
Yeah, I forgot my plug. Forgot to do the plugs. I'm TCK Media Productions. Go check out my video resume on YouTube. Just went up this morning. You got the Raccoon Loon herself over there. She does another podcast called Game Birds, where she talks about indie games. And then, of course, you have That Seth 23. He's allegedly working on some video essay stuff, and I'm just going to have to harass him about it.
Yeah. Please do.
He is and he will, so.
Yes.
I'm going to start playing editor for him and just being like, where is it? Deadline.
Every time you FaceTime me, you've got a J. Jonah Jameson wig on.
Where's my pictures
a
of
mustache
Spider-Man?
and a cigar.
I will do it. I will absolutely do it.
Please do.
That'll unironically be a bit.
That would get me moving. That would get me working.
Unironically be a bit. All right. Anyways, this has been Interference. See you guys next year.
See ya. Bye.